I'm actually really starting to like these cooking videos. I love doing this whole kind of like cooking, researchy, educational thing because I'm such a super nerd, but I also, you're actually helping me figure out what I'm gonna eat every time. So this is what I'm having for dinner today. So. I had recently tried this brand, just says Keto. It's available on Amazon. It's by a company called low-carb. And this is their Cheddar Biscuit mix. Now, this is American biscuits, so they're like a lumpy scone kind of thing. I tried the blueberry one and it was really, really good. So I went ahead and ordered the Cheddar Biscuit version. There's actually a really famous restaurant chain called Red Lobster. I don't know if it's international. I'm gonna assume it is because they're such a big company. But I think that this would be like the, health, I don't wanna say healthy, but if you're doing like no sugar and you're staying away from like carbs and things like that, it's definitely a good option. Super easy to make. These are the deets on the nutritional stuff, and that's per biscuit, and this whole bag makes 10 biscuits. But I think size is relative, so it's 190 calories if you were going to make one biscuit, if you were making 10 biscuits out of this package. But if you only make, 5 ginormous savory scones, biscuits, it's gonna be more calories because that's what portion control is all about. So today is actually gonna be a two-parter because I don't want this to be like, oh, I'm just making something out of a mix. So, and I can't just have this for dinner because that's silly. So I'm actually going to be making a shrimp piccata to go with this, so you'll get to watch that too. So anyway, so yeah, let's see. Preheat oven to 350. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with at least making the doughy part. Remember I made those like hamburger buns like a month or so ago, and I thought they were great, but then they weren't that great because they had this kind of kitchen sponge texture. These don't have that because there's no yeast involved and there's no rising involved in something like a biscuit like this or a scone. So yeah, so I think that's why I like this texture better than any of those like kind of hamburger bun bread kind of fake keto versions of those. So I think I'm just gonna like stay away from that altogether and just stick with like something like this. To this you're going to add 5 ounces of water and 8 ounces of heavy cream. So I have my heavy cream here, nice glass bottle. It's from Strauss. It's an organic creamery, but it's not local. Like I'm in Vegas, but this is from a dairy in California. So, but California is super close, depending on where in California you are. So 8 ounces is a cup. So that's a nice, good cup of heavy cream. Ooh, that looks so yummy. I'm gonna pour that all in. And then it's 5 ounces of water, which is a little bit more than a half a cup. Sorry, I'm getting cream all over my hands. Let me get some water and add it to that. more than half a cup. And let me wipe my hands. Should actually keep a towel up here probably. And then we mix. Most bakers, you know, or home chefs will say you shouldn't mix biscuit dough or scone dough too much, you know. You kind of want to keep it lumpy. I don't know if that's how you make your biscuits at home, but I tend to not overmix it either. I think when you overmix it, it ends up being kind of doughy. You know, so you're not mixing it like it's going to be a pancake dough or a waffle dough or anything like that. It's this kind of slightly dry, you know, kind of dry dough. And not all biscuit doughs use heavy cream. The only reason that I'm using heavy cream here is because it is a low carb recipe and milk has sugar. So it's a higher fat biscuit, scone. But if you're not eating carbs and you're trying to stay away from it, then it works, right? Let's see. Read instructions, they're so important. Divide batter into 10 portions and shape into flat balls. 2 spoons, the easiest way. And you just make sure. Got my baking sheet with a piece of parchment paper, so it won't stick. And I'm just kind of eyeballing this. It says, you know, 10. So, and the nice thing about, you know, these kinds of baked goods is you don't have to have them look perfect. In fact, having them kind of odd shaped makes it more interesting, and I don't think it affects the taste, but in my head it kind of does. So. See, so go back and add a little bit more. That one. And the thing is, like, these, like, if you take a closer look, they have little bits of like cheddar cheese in there, which is, you know, the cheese part of these biscuits. But you can totally add whatever herbs and spices and things that you would like. You know, so if you want to add rosemary, you can add rosemary. If you want to add Old Bay seasoning, you know, which is a very Red Lobster, Cheddar Bay biscuits. The Bay in Cheddar Bay is a reference to Old Bay seasoning. So you can add Old Bay seasoning and make these like super like knockoff Red Lobster biscuits. So these are actually like really decent size. They're kind of, I don't know, baseball sized. Which is nice, right? Like a lot of kind of like, ooh, diet food or health foods have a tendency to be very small in terms of portions. Like, it tastes good, but you only get something the size of your thumb, which I don't like. And that's the signal for my oven to be ready. And this is already made, like, I don't know, in my head, these are kind of huge. I'm gonna add a little bit more of these. I still have plenty in my bowl to make 4 more. So I'm gonna try something a little bit different with the remaining ones. And I'm gonna put these aside for now. I'm gonna walk back yet again. And after I've made a really loud clangy sound, another thing of parchment paper, and let me get these spoons out of here. And to what's left, I'm gonna add a little rosemary. I don't keep Old Bay seasoning because I don't do a whole lot of seafood at home. That's not Asian. But if I did more, you know, like barbecues and things, I probably would keep some of that around. So rosemary goes in, another little light mix so it gets into all the pieces. Okay. Make sure you get all the pieces off your spatula. I wouldn't lick the spoon on these. Mainly because, you know, I mean, there's no egg or anything in it, but I don't know. I don't know if this is technically a raw dough that you'd enjoy eating, like a cookie dough or anything, so. That first one always moves your parchment paper around a lot. Okay, so instead of 10, I've made 9, but I guess that means that each biscuit will be around like 280, no, like 260 calories, something like that. Either way, when you compare it to like the Cheddar Bay biscuits at Red Lobster, Red Lobster, you'll find that these are actually not bad in terms of calories. Okay, these are done. I have 3 rosemary cheddar biscuits and 6 regular just cheddar. I'm gonna pop these in the oven. It's gonna take about 18 to 20 minutes. And while we're doing that, I'm gonna show you what I do with some shrimp. And welcome back. So now we're going to make my shrimp scampi that's gonna go with those cheddar biscuits that are currently in the oven. There's about 9 minutes left, so I'm gonna see if I can make this all in time for that thing to go off. So, shallots. Get sliced. Shallots are, you know, super mild. Kind of like a cross between a garlic and an onion. I am not a trained professional chef, so, you know, my slicing is gonna be just regular little slicing. Nothing spectacular, although it would be kind of nice to learn. One's a little heavy. So yeah, so these are all sliced. I like to kind of separate them just a little bit. Kind of saves me some time in the frying pan. And that is the only other slicing that you're doing, except for and this is just me, just a little bit of bacon. This is all going in the same pan, so it's all going in the same chopping block for me, but I like having a little bacon flavor in my shrimp, but I don't go too crazy, so the end pieces. I get my bacon from this local place, so it comes in, you know, just a little plastic thingy. And this is all I really need because I'm only making enough for one. The main event is here, the shrimp. These are gorgeous, they're gigantic. I mean, look at the size of these things. Ooh. If you are not sure how to buy giant shrimp properly and you can't really figure it out in the store, take a look at the label in the store. Like you'll see here, it says 13, 15 count raw shrimp, right? That means 13 to 15 shrimp per pound. So if you ask for half a pound, you're gonna get, you know, so I asked for half a pound. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 shrimp, right? And he went a little bit over, so I think he gave me like 0.6 of a pound. So that makes sense that I have 9 shrimp. Okay, let's move this all out of the way. And we'll get the stove in place. You guys have seen me use this before, or my trusty conro. And let me come back with a frying pan. Okay, bigger frying pan this time. Let's get this started. And this is pretty easy and quick to put together, so. Get some butter, because everybody loves butter. But the problem with butter is that butter burns, right? So you put a little bit of butter in there, and then you also add some olive oil, because that'll change, because olive oil doesn't burn at the same temperature as butter, so. And look, I have an oil that actually has a spout. You guys were so worried last time. got your messages and you were like, you need to really put that oil in a pourable container. So at least with the olive oil, I have that. So the olive oil goes in there. I'm still trying to figure out the layout of this table, so my shallots are way over here. Let me move my knife out of the way. And not reach over the stove, because that's how people get hurt. But to this, I'm gonna go ahead and add the bacon, because we wanna get that flavor all set up in there. Get some of that bacon fat. So you've got butter, olive oil, and bacon fat. So you know this is gonna taste awesome. But you also don't want to you don't want to burn that bacon. So this is the right amount of time to put in our shallots, very tomato about that. You're gonna cook down these shallots so that they get super nice and soft, like you would do with onions. Now this is just right, what you're looking at right here is a really good base for pasta. You know, you don't even need to put shrimp in. You can just add pasta to this, and it will taste amazing. You can add some Parmesan cheese and like an egg and some pasta, and it would basically be a carbonara, you know? So that's what it smells like. It's that kind of bacony, oniony, slightly garlicky. Let's see how, ooh, that's the sign for 1 minute left. So the biscuits are gonna have to rest while I'm continuing to cook this, but that's probably fine because I don't want to burn my mouth. some of these shallots did not get cut as well as I thought. But, you know, that's what they call rustic. At-home cooking, rustic, country, that kind of stuff, you know? Like, it's not supposed to be perfect. It's not supposed to be, you know, 2 peas and a carrot on a plate either. So, okay, let me get some garlic. Now, garlic is one of those things that I always kind of keep in a jar. Ooh, I'm gonna have to go and get that before they stop yelling at me. Garlic's one of those things I tend to keep in a jar because, I don't know, I don't want to have to keep chopping garlic all the time, and it's just me, so. Ooh, those biscuits look good. I'm gonna let them stay in there for a little bit and brown, but I did turn the heat off, so just kind of stay in the residual heat and just kind of keep baking in that. You know, and the other thing about having it in a jar like this, I know it's a cheat, but it's, you can kind of go a little bit crazy on the amount of garlic you can put in because you don't have to be like, oh God, another garlic clove I have to cut or mince or dice or microplane or whatever. So this is becoming this amazing, soft, luscious, honestly, it's kind of hot, sexy. But we're gonna keep cooking that. We're down to a low heat, as you can tell. It's just a tiny little bit. Because obviously you don't want to burn the garlic, nor the bacon, nor the onions. Just making that. Move this butter back. And there's really only 3 ingredients left. It's shrimp, it's a lemon, and it's white wine. Now, I'm not much of a white wine drinker, but apparently they are now available in cans. So this is Dark Horse Pinot Grigio, comes in a can, and it says half a bottle of wine is 1 can, which is great because if you're, you know, cooking for one like me, then you can use a little bit of this for the cooking and then just finish off the rest of the can, and it's half a bottle. That seems like a lot, but but you're staying indoors anyway, so maybe it's okay that you have half a bottle of wine with your dinner. Half a bottle of wine minus a splash. But you know, it comes in a can, so you can't really close it and keep it. So it's definitely a open and use right away kind of product. Okay, so far I haven't added any salt to this. There's probably enough salt from the bacon. Gosh, I love how it's kind of foaming up. Look at that. That's amazing. So yummy. But yeah, let me get some. Let me turn this down just a smidge, just so it's staying warm. Now I'll get some salt and pepper. Salt, and here is some pepper, which I always seem to kind of over grind in these kind of pepper grinder thingies, and then I always have leftovers. So there's that. And now my whole house smells like I'm just making giant vats of carbonara. It smells so amazing. in here, but you can see how it's kind of caramelizing, getting little bits of brown bits, but it's not burning because we don't want that. Okay, take that off to the side. Add a little bit of olive oil. This is a nonstick pan, so I don't want to add too much because it's not that necessary. I've got my shrimp that I'm going to season, some sea salt, and some more black pepper. Here we go. And then get some tongs. And shrimp, honestly, doesn't really matter how big or small they are. Well, they probably take less time if they're tiny, like cocktail shrimp. But shrimp, as a general rule, take very little time to cook, which is why you kind of have to do it, keep an eye on it. Otherwise, they get overcooked, and overcooked shrimp is kind of tough, you know? So most seafood, you'll find, is better if it's not completely cooked all the way through. So you'll notice I'm not even using like high heat, just that kind of lower heat that I had earlier, just leaving it at that. And look, it's pink already, right? All I have to do is just walk away for a second, wash my hands. Here's one that I did not finish taking. Wait, nope. Shells off of that one. Okay. So, move that over to this side. I turned up the heat just a tiny bit. And to this, I'm gonna add, while that's kind of cooking, get some lemon zest. Ooh, that smells so good. Oh. Because I also need lemon juice. Those lemons had a lot more seeds than I thought, so I'll have to take them out. But back up. And we kind of put it all together. Oh, these shrimp are so big. It'll be like an awesome dinner. And honestly, so much cheaper than like going out to a restaurant. splash of our canned white wine. That picks up all the pieces that are on the pan. You know, but you're cooking it, so you're gonna cook all the alcohol off. But the rest of the can is boozy, so you can actually have, you know, nice. You have a beverage with your dinner. It's great. Okay, and that's it. I don't want to cook it anymore because then it will just get tough and rubbery. Let me get a plate. Take a look. Biscuits came out nice. They're kind of lightly golden on top. This is the rosemary one, so you can see little rosemary bits. But look at the size of the shrimp. They look amazing. They look so tasty. I can't wait to try it. I can't wait to try it. Well, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. I'm just gonna keep eating this. I'll talk to you guys later.